It's going down. All right, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Arizona's Democrat AG urges people to use lethal force against ICE and ignite civil war in streets. So, we're here, man. We're here. Jacob, we're in Jacob's trouble, and the Lord's going to turn up the knob, man. The Lord's going to turn up the heat. The Lord's going to the Lord's going to start turning knobs and turning the fire up on this country called Babylon in the Holy Scriptures. And yes, I speak of the United States of America, which is Babylon the great whore, which sitteth upon many waters, that sit upon the scarlet-colored beast. Okay? Yeah, America is Babylon the Great. And civil war is prophesied. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this. Arizona's Democratic Attorney General Chris Mays said she does not consider immigration and customs enforcement ICE officers to be real law enforcement, before urging people to use lethal force if approached by agents, essentially calling for civil war in the streets. So you see, the so-called global elites, this is what they want, okay? The so-called global elites, they want a civil war here in America, okay? Because they're looking for chaos. And when you look on the back of your dollar bill, what do you see? You see a Latin phrase, ordo ab chao, which is Latin for order out of chaos. They want civil war in the streets so there could be chaos, bloodshed. Hey, beautiful. The water Yahweh, the water Yahweh. Let me get that in Romans chapter 13, verse 11. Cause I know they're talking about a 2028, but look, man, look. What did Romans 13 verse 11 say? And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So 2026 could be the year that we're out of here. This could be the year. Okay, this could be our last Passover. Now, Esau is talking about a 2028, but this could very well be the year that we are out of here, man. This could be the year, brothers. Okay? Because, well, the civil war and stuff, it will lead to chaos. And in the midst of all this chaos, you're going to have people begging for a solution, and these civil wars can lead to many other prophecies coming to pass. It can lead to a famine, because Esau could use the civil war as an excuse to cut off the food supply. Or better yet, maybe he won't cut off the food supply. Maybe he'll just let people raid the grocery stores, like in the movie World War Z, right? People raid the grocery stores, take all the food they can get, and then Esau can basically just stop the food trucks from coming in and refilling your grocery stores. He could say, well, since they want to shoot at, since they want to shoot at our ICE agents, we're basically going to stop the food trucks from coming in to these particular cities until things calm down, which will lead to, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Because uh, roads and bridges and highways being blocked off by martial law troops that will come in the form of ICE agents, National Guard, UN troops, sleeper cells, which the sleeper cells might very well be a part of the UN army. But that's neither here nor there. It says during the interview aired by 12 News, Mays issued a rallying call for insurrection before putting the word officers in quotation marks when talking about ICE agents, saying, I put that in air quotes because I don't think they are real law enforcement. So you can see the left-right paradigm at work here, because this is really just a left-right paradigm. She's acting as if, she's some kind of, she's acting as if, she's speaking on the behalf of the citizens, but really she's working for the so-called elites. Okay, these different high-ranking officials, these different Democrats, they're all working for the so-called elites. So really she's fanning the flames for civil war. And this message might spread to, well, this message could spread to other states and other cities across the US. Now you might start seeing more Democrats popping up across the US. Like, I agree with Mays. We I agree with Mays. We need to take action against ICE now. We can't just let them, just come in our cities and just, ransack our stores and our department retail shop centers and our malls and our homes and just let them have their way. It's time for us to start taking up arms against ICE. You see, we're rallying the people against the United States. So this could have a chain reaction, which is what the so-called elites want, right? So you got the left-right paradigm at work here. He's acting as if she's operating on the behalf of the civilians. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, right, you got the ICE agents basically making people's lives a living hell, going into people's jobs, detaining them, shooting people, shooting and killing people, taking people out of their vehicles, asking them for their papers. ICE is literally like the ICE is like the new Debo on the block right now. You get pulled over by an ICE agent, and then he pulls up to your car holding the AK. Where's your papers at, fool? Get out of the car, punk. Like, you see what I mean? So the left-right paradigm is at work here. It says, Mays claimed that ICE officers are poorly trained and issued a warning to ICE agents in Arizona saying, we are watching you. If you violate an Arizona law, I will prosecute you. We will investigate you, and we will make sure that Arizona laws are enforced. So, the fans of civil war is being fanned here in America, which leads me to II Esdras 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword, this II Esdras 15 verse 15, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. And the one people are the civilians, right? The civilians. And one people shall stand up and fight against another. The civilians shall stand up and fight against ICE, and swords in their hands. What is the modern day sword? The sword here in 2 Esdras 15 verse 15 is talking about the gun. So the civilians shall stand up and fight against these ICE agents in the form of martial law, who will come in the form of martial law with guns in their hands. So these civil wars, these coming civil wars, race wars, and class wars are going to be fought with guns. Okay? So one people, the civilians, the citizens of the U.S., shall stand up and fight against another, these martial law troops, who will come in the form of ICE agents, and UN troops, and maybe even the National Guard might get involved, right? And swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the gun. So this is a biblical prophecy that we're getting ready to enter into. We're literally getting ready to enter into II Esdras 15 verse 15. Okay, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men. What is a sedition? A sedition is a rebellion or a uprising against a government or a higher authority. And an example of a sedition would be a rally, like you saw in this article here. Okay, she's literally rallying her. She's issuing a rallying call for insurrection against ICE. Okay. So a sedition, an example of a sedition will be a protest, a rally, or a riot. Okay. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. Okay. ICE troops invading homes, going from house to house, knocking on people's doors, asking if they're hiding imaginary children. Okay. We're looking for the kid, like in that one video. We're looking for the kid. What kid? Identify the kid, please. What kid are you looking? Yeah, they're looking for the kid because there ain't no kid. Okay, they're just going in and out of businesses with their weapons drawn because it might be a part of some form of exercise. I don't know. But there's a lot of suspicious activity going on with ICE. It says, they, the civilians, shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the people don't care about Donald Trump, man. People are in the spirit of FUCK DJ Trump. Okay? And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17. Okay? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? So if people are taking up arms against ICE agents, you don't think they are going to lock the entire city down? If the whole city is locked down, what do you think that's going to cause? That's going to cause a famine. Because ain't no way ICE agents or martial law troops are going to allow food trucks to pass through into the city because they're going to say it's too dangerous. There's all kind of shootouts, you know, so the food trucks are going to be forced to turn around and go back from whence they came. You see how prophecy is going to lead into other prophecies, okay? For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and the cities are being troubled. Minnesota, Minneapolis, okay, Minneapolis, which means Water City. Minneapolis is being troubled right now. California is being troubled right now. There are many cities throughout the states within the United States of America. The United States of America, which is known as Babylon the Great, are being troubled right now. Their houses shall be destroyed, meaning people's doors are going to be kicked in by martial law troops. People are going to be taken out of their homes, detained, and sent to concentration camps, and men shall be afraid. Okay, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses, meaning break into their houses with the sword, with the gun, and spoil their goods. Okay, toilet paper, commodities, okay, and food, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. So we're getting ready to enter into this phase. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. It's on to the next one.